Welcome back, and of course, let's get back into this to talk about Anubis. Anubis, of course, in ancient Egypt was the dog-headed god that guarded the underworld and the Nine. Can you get into that for a moment? Because people need to realize what they're doing symbolically with Barack Hussein Obama, his middle name being the son of Muhammad, the prophet. By the way, he was never denied Islam, who was trained there. But his name, Barack Obama, means lightning falling from heaven. He is a dead ringer for Akhenaten, the father of King Tutankhamun, the boy emperor, the boy pharaoh who died prematurely of illness when he was quite young.
Well, quickly, I would like to get to how critical it is that I had predicted the next American or next president would not be considered American. You can see this on my website. You can see I've been saying this for a long time, that after W, the next president would be ineligible due to not being a natural-born citizen.
Right.
And so now we have Michelle Obama coming out with a speech about their visit to Kenya, where they publicly took HIV tests, kind of a promotion of homosexuality in a way. And in that lecture she was giving about this event with the HIV, she says in Obama, Barack returned to his home country of Kenya.
Right.
So now everyone's jumping on that, of course.
Well, of course they are. Listen,
but the critical ingredient here is to recognize that, from my hypothesis, this was planned from the beginning to bring about a constitutional convention, that the whole birther movement was planned and organized since day one. And I don't think, anyone expected to see a clone of an ancient pharaoh along with family up in the office, but I definitely expected this birther movement to take hold. And
well, in other words, what you're saying,
that a little more.
Let me make it a little clearer for people that aren't catching this, what you're saying. You're saying that the 9/11 Truth Movement, the birther movement, everything, is a manipulated part of the dialectic to control us and turn us into the new order. In other words, we are to become the Nazified new order that rules over America and the whole world. So people don't understand this. This is like a snake whipping back and forth across the desert sands by pushing against itself. And so they want us to move back from a Marxist-Leninist, Barakanatin, Pharaonic world to a Nazified Führer world, with this dialectic moving us forward toward an objective that they have planned to control the nature of the timeline of mankind.
America is supposed to come down, and that's why we're seeing all the symbolic gestures of Barack Obama with his name, lightning from heaven and such. So we're being engineered to be that satanic force through Lady Gaga and other satanic forces being programmed into us. And we're fulfilling the dream, and also, as we stand and shout that, these evil overlords like George W. Bush, Dick Cheney, were causing 9/11, and we're screaming that HAARP is causing major earthquakes in Chile, these are critical points that are going to bring America down. I mean, if the world actually grabbed hold of these statements and made them true, America would be Satan, and that is the plan.
Well, it is. Again, it's right in the Bible, okay? And remember, the Piso family, the dark nobility, which are part of the Council of Nine of King Herod Agrippa, the Pisos that rewrote portions of the New Testament Bible and inserted things and modified things so much of the New Testament does not agree with the Old Testament Torah. People say, well, they don't believe that. Well, you can find it yourself if you're an academic and a logician. The fact is, they put in there as a template that they expect that certain events are going to happen. So they're using the book of Revelation and other prophetic books as a template for how they control the consciousness of society. I just talked to a pastor the other day who mentioned that Israel can do no wrong, and in 1999, Bibi Netanyahu said he was interrupted by an angel in a hallway in near the Knesset, not to go, quote, to a peace treaty in the late 90s, I think when he was in term 97 or 98, with Syria and Egypt, to sign a peace treaty that would have been, quote, one he could, quote, live with. Netanyahu is not an angel, okay? These people are run by the globalists. The globalists are run by satanic transdimensional entities and beings. And as you mentioned before, these beings are, just goes right back to the Bible, talks about Dagon, the fish god that fell before the Ark of the Covenant in the tent of the Philistines. They're the same gods, the same beings, the same transdimensional Nephilim, the fallen ones, the ones that have transferred technology to mankind, that have controlled and managed and channeled information and technologies right through the Gesellschaft and the Thule Society, and people say, no, they can't do this. I am sorry, you're woefully wrong, and because you are wrong, you're going to be a victim of what's coming next. And tell us what's next.
Well, what's next is a launch by the X-37B, which will be April 19th. What is that, the day before Hitler's birthday?
Yeah, right.
We'll find that they're launching this robotic mini space shuttle that will just stay in orbit, and it is a space war vehicle. It is for the United States Space Force. It is a military project, not a NASA project. And the X-37 will be able to orbit. It'll be a robot space shuttle that just can orbit and land. They, of course, say they're going to use it for potential rescue missions for the ISS in case we can't launch. But, of course, this is military. It's black ops, or not really black. It's out in the public, but it's a military project. So 419 will be seeing the launch of the robot mini space shuttle.
Yeah, well, I remember as a civilian, I worked with U.S. Space Command, and while they're doing launches at Cape Canaveral, which is Cape Kennedy in Florida, they were also doing parallel launches from Vandenberg of the shuttle systems. And we're talking about separate from Aurora and other flight vehicles that we use, or gravitonic or electrogravitonics. And those parallel missions, they think there's only one launch, but there's actually two being monitored. And most of the launches of the shuttle over the past 30 years are all military. They're not public. They're not available for the people to tune into their TV station on NBC and watch the latest of what's going on with the space shuttle. The fact is they wanted to kill it with the things like the Columbia explosion. They wanted to, finally shut it down under Obama, under austerity, because they don't want you to know what they're doing. So this launch of this mini shuttle, this robotic shuttle, is just another extension of the military operations and the mining and everything else they've been going on, and just say, that's it, we're just going to go private, and there's going to be a hiatus of 3 or 4 years. And then if you want to go into near space, you can pay millions of dollars and get shot in the top of a rocket and go in near space and look down on the earth and say, that's cool, and you've blown a few $1 million.
Yeah.
I mean, this is all massaging the public to keep us stupid. And the people think, oh, well, Dr. Deagle, you're making this all up. No, we're not. We're not. And the problem is it is connected with, why are we allowing pollution and electro pollution? I just talked to one of my friends earlier in Canada where they've set up these Wi-Fi networks in school. They've done maze experiments on rats. You put Wi-Fi and the rats can't lay down a memory trace. Their blood-brain barrier breaks down. They get agitated and get autism and attentional disorders. It disrupts their genetics and makes them sterile. It has terrible effects on their mitochondria. Mitochondria are 30 times more likely to be destroyed by scalar and toxic pollutants. And they know this. They're fully aware of this. They don't want you to know it. And they want people like me to either be silenced, or they want us to make it seem like we're crazy because we raise these issues, but they don't want you to know the fact their agenda ultimately is to destroy mankind. People say, that's not possible. They're just greedy. No, they're not just greedy. These are demonic entities that are not human, and they want to destroy mankind. And it's written in your Bible. People say, oh, well, I believe the Bible. I said, really? Well, you read it with a mind, with an intellect. Don't read it like a brainless moron. Read it with an intellect and realize God didn't insult you when he put it there. It unfortunately was written down by people who themselves didn't understand it fully, but we are like the time of Daniel. We do understand these things, and it's the time of the end. Not the end of the world, but the end of the aeon. So people like Freeman and myself are here to teach you that these things in the Bible are true. And you've seen that yourself over and over again, haven't you, Freeman?
I'm digging deep into the understanding of all of... I'm probably as far as Exodus.
When they see my book, Clay and Iron, later this year, they're going to be boggled. They'll have never seen anything like it in history. And I released Clay and Iron 11 years ago, and people still have copies circulating around. The Prophecy Club, I donated to them. I think they sold 26,000 copies. I just wanted my expenses covered so I could travel to the cities. I didn't take a cent. What I want people to understand is we're here now, this time, that the understanding of the nature of what we are in our universe and our Creator God is the solution. It's not a part of the solution. It is the solution. And having a daily, let's say, every breath, every heartbeat must be a prayer. Don't say, how do you pray? How about, how do you connect and stay connected? How do you continue to be in a spiritual relationship? How do you understand the vast and wonderful and horrifying nature of our universe and know that we are not to be victims, but understanding the truth, and the truth will set you free. Freeman, closing comments?
Oh, I agree with you 100%.
Amazing. And again, the ripples of consciousness will spread out. Go to freemantv.com and you'll be surprised, amazed, boggled, but you'll never be the same. We'll have to have you back on soon, Freeman. Coming up on Thursday, Robert Felix and Earth Changes, Tim Alexander, Professor Jeff Grubb, and we're going to have Carrie Cassidy from Project Camelot.